And there was a whole bunch more things like that. But when I ended up getting this offer on this house, um, the last second, the seller said that there was another offer. But here's another thing: they don't have to prove that there's another offer. They could just say there's another offer and lie to you, which I'm pretty sure is what actually happened because they got another like $10,000 out of us that way. It's really scummy. It's really a low thing to do, but I'm kind of gathering that's kind of the kind of people we bought this house from. But they um they said there was another offer, but they liked ours more. Um, but like when I upped my offer, I was like, okay, I'm going to offer this much more, and then I added $751 just in case, because of that first offer. I was like, yeah, I'm going to offer this like awkward like extra $1 on there, just in case it comes down to getting bid out by $750. I'm just it was a very wacky, you know, like I guess you could say buyer's trauma, whatever. Because it is it's a very difficult thing, especially I think it's probably worse in 2020 because again it's a high risk time and it was a seller's market and it was very much a an ordeal that you know sellers were getting away with saying things like, okay, we're going to sell this as is, take it or leave it. Because if you don't buy a house now, when else are you going to get these historic low rates at these, prices still? I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Because like even since the pandemic has kind of slowed down and people are returning to work, people are returning to travel, we're kind of past a lot of the hype of it all. You have a lot more people like the mortgage rates, I think, have actually gone up a lot back to more really technically normal. But the prices never went down. In fact, the prices are going up. So people are talking about, oh, there's an impending housing market collapse coming, which may or may not happen, but millennials particularly are hoping it will so that they can ever afford to buy a house because this is getting really bad. Like um, another really important term which I struggle to understand whenever you talk about, like I was talking about before, like you get your house appraised for the value that it's worth. Um, if your house appraises at a higher value than what you're actually agreeing to pay for it, that means that technically you have what's called equity, which is it's it's the same. You build equity. That's why buying a house or buying any kind of long term thing is a good investment because you are as you pay off more of your house, you build value that you've already paid off in the house. That is that part of the house. I guess you could say you technically own. That part of the loan you've paid off. And so if it appraises at a higher value than what you're already paying for it, then that means that difference in that value, you already have that much money in equity, which for us was like another $9,000. I mean, we don't cash that out. I mean, you can take a loan out against your equity. It's called equity loan. My parents have mentioned doing something like that before. It's not really worth it in your first couple of years because you're not going to have much of it. But you can basically take a loan out of based on how much of your loan you've already paid off, how much of that house you truly do own. But the important thing about that is when we're talking about appraisals and the changes in the housing market that will change and usually benefit you unless you buy in a bad area that's going downhill, which is another thing you have to consider when you're deciding where to live, um, is like since 2020, my house has appreciated in value. I have over like 100K in equity now just because I bought a house in Birmingham and it's in a decent enough area, but the prices across the board have been rising. So technically speaking, if it came down to it and I needed like an emergency eject button on like my life or whatever, it's this this house is already a worthy investment because of that alone. Um, so yeah, that's just another term. I thought that was that's it's important because they bring it up a lot. Equity, escrow, closing costs, all these things. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess so see, you mentioned like stressful moments, particular, of course, anytime that you get an offer rejected, it got so bad at one point that I just needed to take a weekend and go visit my parents, decompress, just to get away from it. Because like you see these houses in the seller's market, and they're on the market one day, they're gone the next. Like it's that bad. Or like the seller will say that they are holding this house and they're not going to look at any offers. Like everyone's like got like this period, like the house comes to the market, everyone has like open houses, they all go and tour it, and then they decide, okay, I'm going to make an offer for this much, and they say, oh, we're going to hold the house, we're going to hold looking at any offers until like this time tomorrow. I've seen it where we did that. I think we tried to put an offer on the house, or no, we were going to go see the house in within that time frame before they stopped looking at the offers, basically. So we could actually schedule it in with our schedule. We could actually go and see the house at all. Before we even got to schedule in to see the house, before they, had to cut off anything, they had already gone under contract. They just
Mm.
they didn't stick to what they said. They're just like, nope, this was too good of an offer to pass up. So there were literally times I would have little dream houses. I would go to sleep, I would fall asleep, I would dream, I would have dreams like, oh, we found this perfect house, and they're gonna let us do this and that, and it's gonna be a good price, and it was it was very stressful. So I had to take a break and get away from it at some point, and then like I would be just casually looking back. It's like almost like an addiction. Like you go back and you look at like Zillow. It's like, oh, there's this new house in my area. I was like, okay, well maybe I can check it out when I get back from the weekend. No, it's under contract.
Mm.
Um, it's oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
it was very difficult for me. Um, but I do not regret it at all. This is, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't necessarily want to keep up with, and things that I've ended up paying even more money to have other people do. Like, I mean, it's a big house. I work full time, and so does my partner. So we have someone come and help us clean, for example. Like that's another couple. That's another investment each month. Um, we have we've actually hired friends sometimes, friends or just local businesses or whatever to help us with some of the stuff, like keeping up stuff outside. And we have a good support system. We had people who've actually helped us with like installing some of the things we've done, like modifications and just, and then of course we've done some work ourselves. Like I'm like right now, for example, the room I'm sitting in right now, whenever we got here, um, this room actually was intended to be an office. This is kind of like right next to the front door. But for whatever reason, whoever was living here before, they decided to remove those doors and make it like more of a sitting room. I think it's like a fancy idea of like your introduction before, because we have a living room, but they have like this fancy idea of like you have a sitting room where it's just like this other room with a separate couch or something. And I sat like the entire first year we lived here, like I just sat like, what am I going to do with this room? Like I was like, I'll put my Christmas tree here around Christmas. And that was like all it got used for. And I had my office actually upstairs because it's a 3 bedroom house. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna have the master suite, I'm gonna have the office, and I'm gonna have the guest room, and that's it. But it was really annoying going all the way upstairs to go to my office, and then when I could just have this like all right here. So we ended up moving all my office stuff down here, and then we went to Home Depot, we bought some doors ourselves, and like we stained them to look like a nicer darker color, and like put like the polyurethane coating on it, and we did that work ourselves. If we had paid someone to do that, it would have been like another like $2,000 or something. It's like crazy. So,
Mm.
um, anyways, are you running out of time?
Yes, I was actually just about to say that, like, I think you've answered like basically every question that I had, and I feel like there's like a lot of I learned a whole lot, out of this, just learning some terms like during the process of like what exactly do some of these things mean, and then just understanding the stressful moments that happen not only during the process of getting a house, but even after getting a house. That there's things that definitely can happen, like you said, renovations or things that that the seller may have given you and you don't even realize that, like, there was a problem with it, like the hot tub situation, and just that's just other things that tie into that. So as there's a lot of that, and like I said, even the bidding wars that happen during it, and just making sure you're in the right kind of areas, and just thinking long term, like this is somewhere where I want to be for a long time and not just, buying a house and then a year later wanting to up and move somewhere else. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to put into consideration. So I definitely, I appreciate you offering all of this and like helping me out, just understanding this. And I hope that this was very helpful for other people as well. So yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for being on here and explaining a little bit more about real estate.
Yeah, sorry, I tend to ramble a lot, but yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking to buy a house or whatever, I mean, just if you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I will most definitely do that. So, yeah, if anybody else out there, got something out of this, I definitely, I hope that you give this a like, whether you're watching this on YouTube or whether you're watching this on my Facebook page, or if you want to like see some reels or some moments from it on my Instagram page, Not Your Average Joel Podcast. And then, of course, my YouTube channel is called Not Your Average Joel. So if you like just search that in the search bar, that my videos, my channel will come up on there. So, anyways, I said I hope that everybody has a good rest of your day, and I will talk to y'all next time.